This is an instructional video on how to replace the circuit board for a Compaction Technologies low profile compactor. The tools you'll need for this job are as follows: a 3/8 inch socket head, a socket wrench, and a 6-inch socket extension. I use a 1/4 inch drive for these, a screwdriver with a Phillips head or a cordless drill with a Phillips head bit, masking tape and a Sharpie marker or pen, and also a package should have been sent to the store, which you can find with the operator or manager on duty, containing the new circuit card to be put in the machine. The first step for replacing the circuit board are to remove the machine top. For instructions on how to do that, please see a separate video. Once you have the top off, if you haven't already, make sure you unplug the machine from a power source if it was connected before. Once you have unplugged the machine from a power source if it was connected, go to the side of the electronics tray and look down in the machine. You should see the circuit board there. Now it is a good idea to take some high quality pictures of which wires go into which Wago input on the circuit board. As you can see, the Wago inputs are labeled on the circuit board, so try and get those in the picture when you take the picture. Now we're going to want to mark bundles of wires with the same color wire coming out so we don't mix them up. There should be a set of 3 on the side of the board furthest away from you to the right of the circuit board, and 3 on the side of the circuit board towards you to the left of the circuit board. This is where we're going to take the masking tape and Sharpie and label these wires. Again, the inputs should be labeled on the circuit board, so just write the same thing on the masking tape, but we'll go through them in case they're not. First, we're going to label the Wago on the side facing away from you on the circuit board, furthest right, this guy right here, as motion. You can keep it pretty simple. I just label it M for motion and put it around the wire connecting to it. Next, we're going to label the Wago pin facing away from you, second to the right, right here, right next to the motion, safety, or in this case, S. We now have that one labeled too. Finally, we're going to label the Wago away from you on the circuit board, third to the right, this guy right here, next to both the motion and safety, as closed, or we'll use a C for this. We now have that one labeled too. Next, we're going to come over to the side of the board towards you and start labeling the Wago inputs for the reed switches. We're going to label this one right here, for this to the left, as full, or in this case, F. Because the wires here are separate and don't all come out of one bundle like these do, make sure you grab both wires that go into the Wago and include them in the tape. And there we go. There's a white and a black wire in that bundle. Next, we're going to label the Wago second from the left right here as home, or in this case, H. Now we have that one labeled. Again, make sure you get both wires that go into the Wago in that bundle. Next, we're going to label the Wago third from the left, this guy right here, as extend, or in this case, E. And there's that one labeled. Again, making sure to get both wires that go into the Wago in that bundle. Now, all bundles of similar wire colors should be labeled, and everything else should be a unique wire input or color combination that should be clearly identifiable in the pictures you took. Remember, if you forget what to label them, what they are written on the circuit board there, so you can just label what's on the circuit board by the Wago input they go into. It would be best if you could find a way to unplug the Wagos one at a time from the old circuit board and plug it into the new circuit board. However, this may be sort of difficult, and you may have to unplug multiple Wagos before plugging them into the new board. Just make sure you keep track of which pins the Wagos go into. In this case, the picture should help. Personally, I unplug all the Wago connectors with unique wire combinations and leave all the Wago connectors with similar wire combinations in the Wago inputs. Unplugging the LCD cable from the daughter board can be a little tricky. It's best to use your fingernail and pull on this little tab as you lift it out. Once you have the LCD cable out, you should have exactly 6 WAGOs still in the circuit board, the safety close and motion sensor, and then the reed switches. At this point, you're going to want to unscrew the 6 Phillips screws that hold the circuit board down to the electronics tray. Now, try to maneuver the old electronics board out of the way a little bit so you can put the new one down in that spot. I set it on top of the power source right there. Take the new circuit board, orient it the same way as the one you pulled out with the LCD display right here towards the back of the machine, and set it down in the electronics tray. Want to line up the holes that the screw go in with the spacer standoffs with the holes in the electronics tray. Once you have the new circuit board in place and the holes lined up with the holes in the electronics tray, screw in the new circuit board. Make sure the screws are snug but not so tight that they're flexing the circuit board. Take a look at the new circuit board. If it was not sent with a daughter board that you see on the old circuit board, take the daughter board from the old circuit board and place it onto the new circuit board, making sure to keep the same orientation. If the new circuit board does already have a daughter board, then you don't have to do any additional steps. Once you've moved over the daughter board, if you had to, the next step is to take the 3 wires still plugged into the old circuit board, the reed switch ones and motion sensor ones, and one at a time remove them from the old circuit board and plug them into the new circuit board. At this point, get the old circuit board out of your way. After that's done, simply re-plug in all the Wagos that you took out that are still hanging there one at a time, making sure they're in the right spot using the pictures you took before you took out the old circuit board. When plugging everything back into the circuit board, there's a few things we want to keep in mind. We want to try and keep the high voltage wires separate from each other, so try and push apart these big white and black wire from the power supply into the board away from the main actuator thick red and yellow wires, so make sure those are kind of away. Then you're going to have a little extra cord from the door motor wire, kind of try and tuck that to the side as much as you can so that it's out of the way and sort of away from, again, these power wires here. Also, when plugging the LCD cord back into the daughter board, make sure that you have white to the right. And then sort of tuck that in as well. Make sure all the cords are kind of bundled together and not all over the place. Another note is that this red and black wire here should be going into the furthest to the left door solenoid tab, even though there are two. Make sure it's always in this one furthest to the left. For the Ethernet cable, you're also going to want black to the right. Once you have the new circuit board in there screwed down and all the wires back in the correct inputs, we're going to power up the machine and take it through a couple tests. First, when you power up the machine, you should see that it says boot success in the software version on the screen there. Make sure that appears. Now we're going to take the machine through the 3-door openings and compaction cycle test. For instructions on how to do that, please see a separate video. Next, we want to make sure that the machine key still works. To do so, simply take the machine key, put it in the slot, turn it to the 3 and 9 position. The LCD should display door open and pull open the door. Next, shut the door. Turn the key to the 12 and 6 position. The LCD should display green ready, and then you're good.